This program is brought to you by the City of Oceanside. The following program does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of the City of Oceanside, its elected officials, KOCT, its board of directors, or staff. This program is underwritten in part by Waste Management of North County in Oceanside. We are dedicated to serving customers and community as a safe, comprehensive service provider, a good corporate citizen, and a responsible environmental steward. Think green. Think Waste Management.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of EC Spectrum, a talk show produced by the video production class of El Camino High School in collaboration with the kind and patient staff of KOCT. I'm Logan Gibba, and this is my co-host, Matima Manzano.
I think both Logan and I would agree that adapting to a pandemic prompted an incredibly challenging year for everyone at El Camino High School. Today's episode of EC Spectrum highlights some individuals who persevered, overcame obstacles, and achieved their goals.
Now, these opportunities were chosen because they found a silver lining in a pandemic cloud. They had a vision, took risk, and made a difference. In today's show, we'll first talk with El Camino principal, Ms. Frazier, who recently received one of San Diego County's highest honors for high school administrators.
Next, we meet Catherine Reagan, our yearbook editor who delivered a yearbook that was successfully memorializes a virtual school year with few activities on campus to capture.
Following that, we meet Michael Villani, an amazing scholar, athlete, and a baseball pitcher who throws his whole heart into the game.
And finally, we meet our foreign exchange student, Andrea Patuzzi, who didn't let a pandemic get in the way of his journey to America.
But first, let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Frazier. Welcome, Ms. Frazier.
Thank you.
We found some pretty sweet pictures of you as an elementary school student in Oceanside. Tell us about your journey through the Oceanside Unified School District.
Well, I started off, we lived on base, and so I started off at North Terrace Elementary School and went to Santa Margarita Elementary School and worked my way up through Jefferson, Lincoln, and eventually graduated from the high school across town, Oceanside High School. But don't hold that against me.
And now, did you always know that you were going into education? And more specifically, did you know you were going to be a principal at some point?
No, actually. I did know that I wanted to be a teacher, and as a matter of fact, when we were kids, we always had to play school, and of course, I had to be the teacher. And so I came into education as something that I've always wanted to do. But being a principal, now that was new for me. That wasn't something that I thought I wanted to do, but eventually, when I got into administration, I love it. I love interacting with students, so this is a dream job for me.
Tell us about a focus or project that you are most proud of initiating at El Camino.
I think the thing that I'm most proud of right now at El Camino is the implementation of our core values: perseverance, empathy, respect, responsibility, and collaboration. Perk up, Wildcats. I think it is such a key factor for us because it helped us with our school culture, making sure that we act and interact in positive ways with one another. And if you noticed recently when you came on campus, we've got tons of banners around the student parking lot to just help the campus and the culture and for everyone to understand and know what our core values are.
Now, this year is like no other, and it could have not been the same. Are there any challenges that you really faced this year that you struggled with and really overcame?
Absolutely. As an educator, the biggest thing for us is, one, to educate students, of course, so academics is important. But one of the bigger challenges is how do you teach students when you're not able to see students and interact with them? As an educator, you like to see that a student knows something when they get it, but when you can't see them, screens are blank, it's hard to know if they're really getting it. So for me, as the principal, I recognized that our teachers were having some difficulty really knowing whether they were getting to our students or not. The second challenge that I had was that social piece, just interacting with kids. And I think for high school students, as well as middle school students, that socialization piece is huge. So the social emotional piece of not being able to interact with their peers, that was a challenge that we're all faced and we're still continuing to face now.
Right, it must have been really hard. Now, I know it's hard to brag about yourself, so we will. Recently, the Association of California School Administrators recognized you for your leadership and honored you as San Diego County's Administrator of the Year. Tell us about that and what it means to you.
Well, ACSA is an Association for Administrators, where they help administrators with professional development and just how to become a better administrator. I'm very honored. I was totally surprised by this award, but it's nice to know that you're being recognized by your peers, those who do the same job you do. So it definitely was, in my 27-year career with the Oceanside School District, it definitely is a highlight of my career, and I'm very blessed to have received this honor, so thank you.
And now after a year like this, what can Wildcats expect to see next year?
I think the biggest piece is us back on campus, interacting with one another. I'm so looking forward to all of the ASB events, our school dances that we didn't get to have, being at football games, interacting with the kids, basketball games, swim meets, all of that. That social piece that I talked about that we've missed out on, I'm looking forward to that, along with being able to go into classes and interact with students to just make sure we're covering that academic side as well.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Frazier. EC Spectrum will be back after this message.
We felt the need to start the ELA certificate program at our CSUSM at Temecula campus because of the environmental issues affecting the Inland Empire. We engage as many industry leaders around the region into the program because we feel that those industry leaders can affect the environmental issues greatest in the region.
I certainly would recommend the ELA program. The program provides you access to individuals in key organizations that you might not otherwise have access to. Those relationships can be valuable to you in the future.
I challenge many other industries that have not sent somebody to definitely send somebody to this program, as it will truly affect your organization and our region for the future.
Welcome back to EC Spectrum. Sitting here with us is Catherine Regan, El Camino's yearbook editor and a constant fixture at El Camino's sporting events.
Catherine, you probably had the hardest job of any school yearbook editor ever. So how do you capture and memorialize a campus that has been empty for almost an entire year?
Without the personal connection that we had upon a campus once upon a time, we had to go and think outside the box. We had to utilize all of our social media accounts between Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, whether it was the yearbook Instagram, our personal accounts, to talking with staff over email, to our friends' accounts that had a bigger and brighter output of following accounts. They were able to output more information to more people to get better information to fill the yearbook with.
And now, you made the yearbook deadline this year in March. Was that a very stressful event, and do you feel like it's a big weight off your shoulders?
I would say it wasn't as stressful as the 2020 yearbook. At the very end, when March 13th hit, I remember we only had a week until our final deadline, and we had multiple things to still bring in, and I'd say that was probably the most stressful for myself. Going into this year, we already knew we were in the pandemic. Of course, we're still waiting for the outcome of us going back to school, but once we hit school, we knew we were still going to be virtual. So we thought outside the box, and we were able to incorporate everything in between the yearbook, filling the book with 300 pages and more with everyone's inspirations in it. And it was a tremendous effort to put in, and to make it in by March for everyone to get it by June was the most for us.
Great. Now, we noticed that you attend these sporting events quite frequently. Has this inspired you to pursue a career in the digital arts or photography?
In the fall, I will be attending University of Arizona, located in Tucson, which is Southern Arizona, and I will be majoring in pre-business in their Eller College of Management with a concentration in marketing, and I will have a minor in communications. I would love to be on their field to capture any memories for their athletes like I have been doing at El Camino, and I've been doing this for EC for the past 3 years on their sidelines, so I can't see myself without a camera on the field for it. In the future, I see myself obtaining a master's in my marketing and eventually becoming a director of digital media, where I could be able to connect with a professional sports team or work with a corporate business and be able to advertise their needs with digital media.
And now we also noticed that your dad is a constant fixture at these games with you right by your side taking photos. Has this made you closer with your dad, and how's that experience with him?
One could say we have become closer with our photography skills. My sophomore year, I was given my first camera, which I was able to teach myself how to use it. Junior year, I moved on and got another camera after my first camera burned up after the state championship football game. So I had to get another camera since I had a basketball game that following week for yearbook. And moving on to junior year, I needed another person to help me out with my basketball game since I was the only one covering 5 levels of basketball. And with my dad's help, we were able to cover more basketball together for yearbook and finish the basketball spreads on time, and moving on into spring sports to move those into yearbook before the deadline. And then when senior year hit, we were able to work together and capture more memories for both EC and the yearbook. And with his incorporation of helping with still shots, he's able to move people in the right order, and I'm able to teach him more of what's behind the camera. And then we've both come to learn how to capture the eye of an athlete, which I like to say. By capturing the eye, you see more of what they're doing and where they're going. You capture their emotion and what they're feeling, and you capture the full picture.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Catherine. And if anyone still wants to get the yearbook, just be sure to go to ASB or the Cat's Corner and be able to pick up one. And I will be very sure to get your signature in my yearbook. EC Spectrum will be back after this brief message.
Tee off at the Oceanside Municipal Golf Course. Located minutes from downtown Oceanside, the Oceanside Golf Course showcases 18 holes, is open to all, with special consideration for Oceanside residents. Featuring an all-grass driving range, lessons and camps, a full-service grill, and spectacular views. The Oceanside Golf Course is an affordable option for a great day on the green. The course is open every day from 6 a.m. till sunset, located at 825 Douglas Drive. For best rates, book online today. Visit playoceansidegolf.com or call 760-433-1360.
Welcome back to EC Spectrum. Here with us is Michael Vialni, a senior scholar and athlete who pitched his way to Santa Clara University.
Now, Michael, tell us about your training and what has really gone into getting this scholarship.
So what's gone into this was just constant days pitching at just my pitching coach's house, and then just getting days in at the gym, and just kind of grinding through the summer. But yeah.
Now, baseball players are known for their superstitions and rituals. Do you have any before a game?
I actually don't have any superstitions. I kind of feel if you have superstitions, you kind of play tight. So kind of try and stay away from all that.
And now, as we know, baseball players are known for their walkout songs, whether it be to the mound or to the base. Now, do you have a walkout song that you put out whenever you go out?
I don't have a walkout song to the mound, but should definitely get one. Yeah.
Now, it's been a challenging year for everyone. How did COVID restrictions affect your game?
COVID restrictions kind of made it really tough to try to get noticed. It's kind of hard to get scouts to the game when they can only see you through video. Same thing with working out and then trying to find the right guys to get better. But I think through all of that, I was able to find the right guy to pitch to, and then through him, I was able to find a gym to go to that was open through COVID, which helped a lot.
And now, as you mentioned that it's hard to find scouts, do you find yourself actually looking for the scouts and sending your own clips to scouts, or do you find yourself waiting for your coaches to do that for you?
Honestly, skill kind of talks. So if you're grinding the whole summer and you come out and you play hard and you end up doing well, then they'll find you. And I didn't really send out any videos. I was kind of just going out and playing, but my coaches did help just by kind of sending clips here and there. But yeah.
And then with that grinding and constantly getting better, do you have a most memorable moment throughout your career playing baseball?
Yeah, so my most memorable moment was actually my first game, just because last year we got cut off. I was out because of transfer rule, and first came back was definitely the most memorable.
Now, do you have a mentor, not just for baseball, but for the game of life?
Not necessarily, but I do have someone who kind of pushes me in the right direction. My pitching coach plays a huge factor in that. He kind of shows me just kind of like how to move around, just how to talk to scouts, how to just be the best person I can.
And now with baseball, what's like the big picture? What's your big motivation, and where do you see yourself like 10 years down the line?
The motivation is to get better and then play at the higher level. Down the line, I want to see myself, playing in a higher level. That would definitely be the ultimate goal.
Now, I know that having spectators really motivates a player. How has it been without any spectators at games?
It's been different for sure. Feels a lot quieter. Parents aren't really chirping all that much, but it's, it hasn't been all that bad just because you can really just focus on the game. You can hear a lot of the chatter more from, both the dugouts, but honestly it hasn't been too bad.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that I speak for myself and many fans out there. We are very excited to be spectators again. EC Spectrum will be back after this message.
Tri-City Medical Center, a leader in advanced healthcare close to home.
I've completed 8 Ironman races until a ruptured herniated disc caused me debilitating pain.
I performed a successful microdiscectomy on Kathleen.
But I did not want to run anymore. I didn't want to risk pain again. After time, I needed an Ironman-sized dream, so I returned to triathlons.
I worked with Kathleen to help her regain her strength.
Thank you, Tri-City Medical Center, for your incredible orthopedic work.
Tri-City Medical Center, advanced healthcare for you.
Welcome back to EC Spectrum, where our final guest is Andrea Patuzzi, a foreign exchange student from Italy who has spent his 2020 to 2021 school year here at El Camino. And what a strange year it has been for all of us. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Now, this year at El Camino has not really been representative of what our school is really like, but we're curious of what your school is like. So how is education in Italy different than here?
First of all, we got 5 years of high school instead of 4. We go to school at Saturdays. We don't switch classes, but instead teachers come to us. Because we don't choose classes, we choose what kind of high school we want to attend. Like, for example, marketing high school, scientific high school. Personally, I attend a scientific high school, so I've been doing classes like math, physics, and chemistry since my freshman year. We don't have the sports is not connected to school. We have just clubs, so we don't practice sports at school.
All right, and now did the pandemic, with all of its social distancing and social virtual instruction, did it affect your view on America?
No, it's still the same. I mean, I'd been here couples of times before, and I already knew America a little bit, but I still think that I like America because you got so many different cultures and so many different people with different stories to learn from, and I think that's stimulating for me.
Now, do you feel like the timing of your visit made you miss out on certain experiences?
No, I feel thankful and privileged to be one of the few exchange students to be able to come to US. Before coming here, I thought about how the pandemic could affect my experience, but then I thought that I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and to learn new things and to do new experience.
And now, what has been one of your favorite moments here in Oceanside?
Well, I guess every little moment with my host family, going to the beach, hanging out at the pier, or going to practice every single day with my team at El Camino and meet my friends.
Now, with the pandemic restrictions, did you get to do any sightseeing?
Yeah, I've been to Vegas, I've been to San Diego many times, I've been to Arizona in Phoenix, and soon I'm gonna go to Los Angeles again.
And now, after all of this and all the experiences you've had, will you be coming back to the United States?
I would definitely come back as a tourist because I still have some big cities to visit. But I'm thinking also to attend college here after my last year of high school in Italy.
Thank you for joining us today, Andrea, and we hope you have many more adventures in America.
Thanks.
And to all the viewers joining us watching this EC Spectrum, as well as all the guests and everyone in class of 2021, we would like to thank you for being resilient in something that will soon be referred to as the pandemic generation. Class of 2021, we salute you, and goodbye.
This program is brought to you by the City of Oceanside.